Okay, for those of you listening at home, hi Rainey. We are just about to go through, I think it was homework 6C-2, is that right? 6C-something. 6C-5, that's it. Just problems 1 through 6 because we're doing number 7 notes today. So, for those of you listening at home, go grab a sandwich or a bowl of chicken soup or something. We'll be with you in about 2 minutes. And 5 and 6, you didn't have to graph or analyze, just put it in the right form. All right, number 8.
I don't have the notes on the back.
Okay, let's do it. I'll put a 2 and then as soon as you fill them in, call me over. Yes. So I'll give you 2 and as soon as you get to that, call me over.
There's about 100 that I can choose from.
That's true.
So I got one of those. That's right. So I limited about 30. And then I realized seriously trying to put down a little more.
Alrighty. Let's take a look. Let me scoot this in so there's evidence on the video that I actually exist. Looking at wow. There's a bunch of junk open on this. Here we go. Hold on a second. C-dash 5. Got it. Just double checking. Did the first one say 1/4 parentheses x plus 2? Good. All right. Here we go. Number 1, grab your favorite red writing utensil. I have to fill in a few of these because the thing doesn't give me everything. The vertex is -2, 2. The focal move is 1, so C is equal to 1. The focus is at -2, 3. The directrix is y equals 1. The height multiplier is 1/4, I should have mentioned that earlier. And the axis of symmetry is x equals -2. Any repeats? Okay. Number 2, I'll try and do this in the right order this time. Number 2, the vertex is 3, 0. The height multiplier is -2. The focal move is -1/8, or you could have 1/8. C is equal to 1/8. The focus is at 3, -1/8. The directrix is y equals +1/8. And the axis of symmetry is x equals 3. Any repeats? Alrighty. Number 3. The vertex is at 1, -6. The focal move is 1/4. Bless you. Oh, sorry, the height multiplier is 1. The focal move is 1/4, positive. The focus is 1, I'll accept 2 different answers. -23/4 is the best, but if you want to do -5 3/4, I'll accept it. The directrix is at y equals -25/4. I suppose you could do y equals -6 1/4. And the axis of symmetry is x equals 1. Number 4, the vertex is -6, -1. height multiplier is -1, so A equals -1. The focal move is -1/4. The focus is -6, -5/4. You could also have -1 1/4. The directrix is y equals -3/4. The axis of symmetry is x equals -6. Any repeats on number 4? Yeah.
You are 1 and 2.
1 and 2, the entire thing?
Yeah, well, I found my homework, so.
Gotcha. Okay, let me see. Okay, let me rip through these real fast. Number 1, vertex, -2, 2. Height multiplier, 1, A equals 1/4. Focal move is 1, C equals 1. Focus is -2, 3. Directrix is y equals 1. Nate, don't distract when he's writing down. I don't want to repeat these again. An axis of symmetry is x equals -2. Number 2, vertex 3, 0. Focal move -1/8. Height multiplier -2. A equals -2. Focus is 3, -1/8. The directrix is y equals +1/8. Axis of symmetry is x equals 3. Scoot to number 5. All you needed to do was get this in vertex form. Y equals -2, parentheses, x minus -1, parentheses squared, plus 3. Did we catch that? Number 6. Y equals 1, parentheses, x minus 1, parentheses squared, plus 2. Any repeats on, yeah? You can, do you have to do the one in front, yes? You do not absolutely have to do the one in front. If you left it off, that's fine. Any repeats anywhere? Okay. 5, y equals -2, parentheses, x minus -1, parentheses squared, plus 3. Are we good? Alrighty, questions? Any of those you want to see dissected? How'd it go? Easy, hard, medium? Nightmarish? Fall out of a hammock easy? No questions at all? Yeah. Number 3? Yeah. So y equals parentheses x minus 1 squared minus 6. I'm going to do plus -6. There's a 1 in front here, which is A. Since it's A, H, K. So the vertex is +1, -6. And the height multiplier is 1. Those are the first two things you can just pluck out. The focal move is 1/4A, which in this case is 1/4 times 1, better known as 1/4. The fact that C is positive means that you can expect the focus to go up. It's positive, so it's going up. The focus itself, yeah, to graph it anyway, so I guess I should do that. Vertex is 1, -6, so 1 to the right, 6 down. Good idea to label. And this is a normal height parabola, so it's over 1, up 1, over 2, up 4, over 3, up 9. I'm going to go over 1, up 1, over 2, up 4, which would get you to a height of -2, I think. There. That should be more or less enough. The graph can actually help you find the focus. You don't have to put the focus on the picture unless you want to. But the focal move is 1/4 space away from the vertex. And in this case, it's 1/4 space up. So the focus is 1/4, this is the point 1, -6. It's a quarter space above that. So add a fourth to this, to its height. So it's going to be 1 and -5 3/4. Or 1, -23/4. Does that make sense? And the directrix is in the other direction. It'll be 1/4 of a space below. So instead of a height of -6, it's a height 1/4 space below that. It's y equals -6 1/4, or y equals -25 volts. And the axis of symmetry is what splits it right down the middle. The graph kind of gives it away. So does the vertex. It's x equals 1, which is the axis. Does that make sense? Any others you want to see? Everybody okay with number 5 and number 6 doing complete the square? Because that's going to be a key skill when you're doing parabolas. And the other stuff, you do double complete the square. Last call. Going once, twice, thrice. Okay, take a deep breath. I'm about to flip your brain sideways.
I did it.
This is not the problem that flips your brain sideways, hopefully. This should be relatively stress-free. Somebody graph it for me. Will, help me out. Where's the vertex? Not quite.
Never mind.
Okay. Can you put this in vertex form? By page.
Sure.
Go for it.
Oh, the vertex is just 0, 0.
Yes. 1 parentheses x minus 0 squared plus 0. In other words, there was nothing multiplied except 1, nothing subtracted, nothing added. So just fill in the garbage. I love that stuff. So the vertex is 0, 0. Will, what's the pattern for a normal problem? Start the vertex and do what?
Oh, over 1 up 1.
Yes, and then over 2,
2 up 4,
over 5.
up 25.
Exactly. So if I go over 1 up 1, looks like that. Start over 2 up 4. That should give us the graph. Make sure it curves on the bottom. Hopefully nobody got stressed on that one. Because I'm about to ask you to do this. What in the world? Does anybody see what I did? Here from there to there? What mathematical thingy did I do? Like physically, what did I do? Go. I swapped the x and y. Does anybody remember what that does? There are actually 2 possible answers to that. Yeah.
Makes the inverse.
It makes the inverse. It's also a reflection. A reflection over what? Yeah.
The y-axis?
Close. Y-axis is opposite x. Yeah.
Oh, it's
Origin is opposite x, opposite y.
it's the line. Y equals x.
Yes, the line y equals x. It's a reflection over the line y equals x, the diagonal line. That's here. How do you take a graph and make the inverse graph? It's a relatively easy trick. Mary, what do you think?
You just switch all the x's and y's.
Right. Switch all the x's and y's. Do it. This is -2 comma 4. Where does it go? 4 comma -2. Okay. I'm just going to do these open dots. How about -1 comma 1? Okay. 0, 0? Yeah. 1 comma 1? 1 comma 1. No shock. And then 2 comma 4? Does everybody see what's about to happen? What kind of a shape is it? Awesome.
Still like a parabola, but it's on its side.
Correct. Welcome to your first sideways parabola. When you take the inverse of a regular parabola, that goes up or down, you flip it sideways. There's a little more to it, and there are some tricks to make it easier. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This formula here, this was y equals 1 parentheses x minus 1 parentheses squared minus 6 or plus negative 6. I'm going to use that one. Go ahead and write that down. This is the problem from wherever it was. Number 3. I'm deliberately using the problem from number 3 because I want to graph x equals 1 parentheses y minus 1 parentheses squared plus negative 6. If you already have the first graph, it's relatively easy. Somebody talk me through it. Josh, what do you think? How would you do it?
Since it's the inverse, it'll be, you can just switch the x's and y's.
Right. You notice if they switch the x's and y's in the formula, you're going to switch the x's and y's in the picture. Go ahead and talk it through. Where is the vertex on this one?
That's 1, -6.
And where's the new one?
-6 and 1.
-6, 1. Give me another point. Take it back. But can you give me the coordinates of any of those other points?
You could do,
It was over 1 up 1 over 2 up 4 of that up.
should be, well, on the original graph would be 2, -2.
Okay, 2 comma negative what? Negative 2 is up here. This is down here. This is the vertex is at -6 height. Over 1 up 1. Yeah, 2 comma -5. So this then, let me just write that in. Let's see. 2 comma -5. What's the new point? -5 comma 2. I'm going to mark these. -5 comma 2 is here. Let me see. Katie, take over. We've got this one and this one. Find the coordinates of another point. 0 comma -5. Where's the new point? -5 comma 0. Find another one. -1, -2. Where's the new point? -2 comma -1. Give me the last point while you're at it. 3 comma -2. Good. New point? -2 comma 3. Got it. Does that make sense? Now there are 3 things I'm going to ask you to do with these new weird ones. First is graph. Second, well, I guess there are 2 main things. Number 1 is get the formula. 2 is graph it. And 3, I want you to analyze it. Let's just dissect this, just mentally. Where's the vertex? Don't look at the formula, look at the graph. Nate. Where's the vertex of this sideways parabola? Just look at the graph, don't look up here. -6 comma 1. Is there any possible way we could have gotten that from the formula? Go.
You switched H and K, you did K first and then H.
If you did K first and then H, yep. As a matter of fact, this is still H and K, but you notice when we swap the X and Y, you also swap the X and Y of the vertex. You swap every single X and Y. So this is, let me show you the formula. X equals A parentheses Y minus K parentheses squared plus H. The K and H are backwards, just like the X and Y are backwards. The A stays put, but every single pair of X and Y, you swap. So the vertex is still h comma k, just they're backwards in the formula. While you're at it, what's the height multiplier? 1. That didn't change. Can somebody find me the focal move? Becca. What's the formula for focal move?
4 over 4 times A.
Correct. And it's exactly the same here. Go ahead and do it.
So it's 4 over 4 times 1.
Yeah, which is
1 over 4.
1 over 4. The focal move is 1/4, and it's positive. Can anybody tell me which way the focus moved? Sam? Wait a minute.
I'm not sure.
Here's a hint. The focus is a sort of a source or center of gravity. It pulls the graph after it. So if the focus is pulling the graph after it, what direction is the focus? To the right. That's exactly correct. It's right here. How far away? 1/4 of a space away. Does everybody see that? The focal move is moving in the direction of the parabola. Or more accurately, the parabola is moving in the direction of the focus. Because the focus is the gravitational well that pulls it. Can somebody give me the coordinates of the focus? Now the vertex is at -6, 1. Right here. Where's the focus? Physically speaking, you said it moved 1/4 space to the right. What number does that change? Does it change the first number or the second number? Yeah.
It changes the second, no, the first number.
The first number. The second number is the height. The first number is how far over it is. And if you go to the right, what are you going to do?
It's gonna be -5 3/4.
Got it. -5 3/4. Because if it's -6, then you scoot over a little to the right, it gets a little less negative. -5 3/4 come what?
1.
1. Because the height did not change. Does that make sense? Clear? And I'm okay with mixed numbers, but you could also do -20 3/4. Can somebody tell me, this is a little bit more tricky, the axis of symmetry? We'll do the directrix in a second. Yeah, please. The axis of symmetry is going across. It's a horizontal line, and it is y = 1. It's not x = something this time. Nice. Can somebody tell me where the directrix is? Where do you look for it? Sheila.
It's 1/4 space to the left from where the vertex is.
Yes, and it's going to be, is a line going to be running up, down, or left, right?
Up, down.
Up, down. A 4th space to the left. Can you give me an equation for that? Is it x equals or y equals?
X equals.
X equals. X equals what? You started at -6, 1.
Be -6 1/4.
Got it. X equals -6 1/4. You could also do -25 fourths. What? We could go there. That's kind of the secret of how to graph and analyze a parabola with the x and y switched. It's going to be a sideways parabola. Now, I want to see if we can graph one from scratch. And I got to remember that we're doing the video thing, so I'm not going to do the other boards. Sorry, I'm dumping my junk next to you. Try this. Graph the following. Go ahead and write that down. X equals -2 parentheses y minus 3 squared, quantity squared, plus 1. Now we do not have the luxury of a previous graph. If we did, we could just flip all the x's and y's and be done. We don't have that. Can somebody, if you're feeling clever, tell me where the vertex is? Just be careful. Go. Very good. Oh, did you have a hand up? Okay. Close. It's still plus on the outside, but go ahead. 1 comma 3. Right. Because the formula is x equals a parentheses y minus k squared plus h. You might, oh, I have that already. You might want to commit that to memory. The vertex form that we know started with y equals. This is the inverse version of that. Just flip the x and y and flip the h and k. Everything else stays the same. And so h comma k is going to be your vertex. The vertex is always h comma k, no matter what you're doing, regular or inverse. While you're at it, what's height multiplier? -2. Everybody right? Courtney, what is the focal move? How do you get that again?
1/4 times -2.
Yeah, 1/4a. What is that in this case?
Negative, or.
Yeah, that's fine.
-2.
4 times -2 is
2.
multiply. I should do this. 4 times -2 is,
-2.
that's dividing.
Oh, sorry. I kept thinking, sorry, -8.
-8. So 1/8 or -1/8, either way. Does that make sense? The focal move, that means it's 1/8 of a space away. Whatever happened, it's 1/8 of a space away. Let's graph this thing. Hang on to your hats. I'm about to show you a little bit of a shortcut. Which way is this parabola opening? Normally the answer to that question would be either up or down, but in this case it's either left or right, because it's an inverse parabola. Good. How do you know it's going to the left?
This is a negative.
It's negative. The same rules apply. X is either negative to the left, positive to the right, and Y is either positive up, negative down. So if you have an X that's going negative, it's opening to the left. We're going to have a parabola that's opening like that. It's opening to the left. The vertex is 1 comma 3. Height multiplier of -2. Hey, take over. What's the parabola pattern for a normal parabola? Over 1 up 1, over 2 up 4. What's this going to be? Over 1 down 2. Keep going. Over 2 down 8. Correct. Does that make sense? And then how about over 3? I wouldn't do it because it's huge. Down 18. Yeah. Do it. Here's the trick though. Does everybody agree that y is positive when you go up? Like we draw our graphs that way. We orient them on our paper so that the y positive is going up. I want you kind of like in your, at least in your head, to look at it like this. If you tilt your head to the right, this is x positive. That's the new up. That way. Somebody pointed, I mean, don't get a kink in your neck when you're doing that. But if you're looking at this, this is positive up. In other words, and this would be down. So I'm looking at this, the parabola is going to be going down like that. Make sense? Now, you don't have to actually, and somebody actually had the bright idea in my previous school. Because I was doing this all the time, and I said, Mr. Cochran, can we just rotate our paper 90 degrees? Oh, yeah. You can do that. I can't rotate my board that way, so I'm stuck. But here's what I do. I kind of, just humor me for a second. I'm kind of like going like this. Over 1, down 2. You see what I'm doing? I'll be out of the way in just a second. Over 1, down 2. Start over. Over 2, down 8. Let me see. -1, 2, ones. So over 2 down 8. That is your parabola. It looks like this. Make sure it's rounded on the right-hand side. It's a relatively skinny looking parabola. Ta-da. Now you tell me. Sam, where is the focus? Is it up, down, left, or right? Left. The graph should tell you right away. Wherever the graph is being pulled, that's the focus direction. How far to the left? Negative 1/8. So 1/8 that is spaced to the left. Where is that? What comma what? Okay. It starts at 1 comma 3. Scoot it 1/8 of a space to the left. What'll that affect? The first number or the second?
First number.
The first number.
So it'd be like negative, or no.
You're on the right track though.
Um,
Start at 1 and include this. Is it going to get bigger or smaller?
Smaller.
Smaller. Get that much smaller. 1/8.
So like
7/8. Comma what?
3.
Comma 3. Everybody clear? Can somebody tell me where the directrix is? First of all, can somebody describe physically where to look for the directrix? Abby, what direction would you expect the directrix to be?
To the right of
To
the
the right.
vertex.
Would you expect to be going up, down, or left, right?
Up, down.
Up, down. It's 1/8 space to the right, and it's a vertical line. How far over is it?
1/8 over
From where?
the vertex.
Yeah, so how far over was
Oh,
the vertex?
1 and 1/8.
Ah. Would that be x equals or y equals? Vertical.
X.
X. So x equals what?
1 and 1/8.
Got it. Got it. Make sense? And you've got your vertex height multiplier, focal move, focus, directrix. One last thing, axis of symmetry. Go. Awesome. What is the axis of symmetry?
It'd be, X,
You can probably tell by the graph.
yeah,
What?
Y equals 3.
Y equals 3. Is everybody good with that? Now, I'm going to give you one last problem. And just so you're aware, your homework assignment for tomorrow is finish problem 7. That's it. Now, don't do it yet. We've got one last thing to show you. If somebody throws a weird formula at you from the middle of nowhere, hypothetically, like me. Wow, hang on a second. That was icky. There you go. What's a good one? Yeah, this is good. I've got, whoa. Another good one. Right. Yes, much better. Go ahead and write that down. Last problem of the day. Y squared plus x minus 6y plus 15 equals 0. Go ahead and write it down. How do you tell if a parabola is going up, down, or left, right? Let me piece that together. How do you tell the difference? Like this thing. It's all scrambled. How do you tell? Yeah.
Be like the variable twice.
Maybe, although
Like
not
if
always.
it's- If like 1 is squared.
Ah.
If it's twice, like 1 squared is 1.
If one is squared and one is not, it's guaranteed parabola. But it depends on which one is squared. The ones we're used to is y equals x squared. This one, the y is squared. Which way do you think it's going? Up, down? or left, right, Josh? Left, right. What told you that?
Because the y squared.
The y is squared. In other words, go ahead and write this down. In a parabola, the non-squared variable, the one that's never squared, is called the leader. The leader. In this case, it's x. The variable that in the formula is never squared ever. So there are no x squareds. That's the leader variable. How do you tell which way the parabola is opening? The opening direction? You actually learned it before kindergarten. Follow the leader. If x is the leader, you're going to follow it left or right, because that's our x directions. If y is the leader, the non-squared term, then you're either going to follow it up or follow it down. Well, let's find out. In any good military operation, you have to have the leader out front. I mean, not the general, that would actually become stupid. But here, general, go to the front line and show us how it's done. It doesn't end well. But assuming that you're an actual leader and you're leading a troop of Boy or Girl Scouts off to whatever, you're going to be in front. So, get it in front. In other words, get the leader by itself. In front. How? It's kind of similar to what we did in problem number 5, I think. How do you do it? Nate, take over. How do you get x by itself? Yeah, you can subtract it to the other side, as long as you do it to both sides. It'll look like this. Negative x equals y squared minus 6y plus 15. Now, it's not quite by itself. Let me see. Mary, take over. Get x completely by itself. Yeah, divide by -1, or multiply by -1, I don't care which. As long as you do it to, how about just here? Is that legal or no? No. Every single one of them. Show me what you get. Correct. That's the formula you start with. Can anybody tell me which direction? Can anybody tell me which direction this thing's going to be opening? Up, down, left, or right? First of all, is it going to be up, down, or is it going to be left, right? Good. It's got to be left, right. What tells you that? X equals. X is the leader. So you follow the leader, it'll be either left or right. Can you tell me if it's left or right? Left. See how it comes? This is -1. That's A. That's the height multiplier. So whatever the height multiplier is, follow it. This is going to the left. It opens to the left. How much time do I have? I have just enough time to finish this. I want to get this in vertex form. How? Complete the square. There's another way, but I'll show you that in a minute. Or maybe tomorrow. Depends how fast you go. So, let me see. I'll recopy it. X equals -1y squared plus 6y plus -15. What's step 1 of complete the square? Sam. Good. Now what? Cancel the c. How? Yeah, and leave a of blank. So we got negative 1y squared plus 6y plus blank equals 15. Megan, take over. What's step 2 for complete the square? Oh, well, I'm sorry, that was step 2. What's step 3?
Pull out the negative.
Yeah, undistribute the a. In this case, a is negative 1. So negative 1 parentheses what?
Y squared minus 6y.
Yes. You could leave it a plus. You would expect it to be minus, but this is square the first, double the product, square the last. And square the last is always positive. And then equals what? Next. Do one more step for me. Compress this into a binomial squared. Where'd it come from?
Y minus 3.
Yes, because this is a double product. So you one double it. What should have been here? 9. Take over, Blaze. I got a 9 here, which is great as long as I do it too. Is that right? What's wrong? It's negative 1 times bigger than we thought it was. So we're not adding 9, we're adding negative 9. So what is that, by the way? 6. One more step. Get it back. By the way, we've solved things like this. I don't want to solve it. I just want to get it back into vertex form. Well, 5th step. We're almost done. It started equal to 0.
Oh, you have to.
Finish it equal to 0.
Yeah.
Like what? Subtract 6. Both sides. Tell me what it is so far.
Negative 1, parentheses y minus 3 squared.
Uh-huh.
Minus 6.
Minus 6 equals
0.
0. Good. Once it's back equal to 0, I was about to say put the y equals back, but it's actually putting the what? X equals back. You've now got your formula in vertex form. Somebody tell me where the vertex is. Kate. Where's the vertex of this thing? Normally it would be. I like the negative 6 and I like the 3. Exactly. Negative 6 comma 3, backwards. If the x and y are backwards, the h and k are backwards. What's the height multiplier in 8? Negative 1. What's the focal move? What's the formula? 1 over 4a. Do it. Which is? Negative 1/4. Correct. Let's graph this thing. Becca, take over. Where's the vertex on this thing?
Negative 6 comma 3.
Negative 6 comma 3. So 6 to the left, 3 up. Okay. Which way is this thing opening? Up, down, left, right?
Left.
It's opening to the left. Yeah. What's the pattern? What's the height multiplier?
Negative 1.
Negative 1. So it's going left, which is negative, over 1, and then what? Would it be up or down?
Down.
Down. Now remember, you have to tilt your head to see the correct down. Over 1, down what?
4.
1. Over 2, down 4. That's exactly what we're going to do. So over 1, down 1. Over 2, down 4. That is your problem. That, by the way, would be 1/3 of your points if I say graph and analyze. Graph is kind of a big deal. Nick, where's the focus? Up, down, left, or right?
It is left.
Left. How far?
It is negative 6 and 1/4.
Okay.
And then 3.
Correct. Negative 6 and 1/4, comma 3, because it's 1/4 space to the left. Where's the directrix, Austin? Where do you look for it?
Just look to the right.
To the right. How far over?
1/4.
1/4 of a space over.
So it would be negative 5 and 3/4.
Negative 5 3/4, is that x equals or y equals?
Wait, y. No, x equals.
It's x equals, correct. Still with me? And, make clear, last question, where's the axis of symmetry? What is it? What? Wow, don't drink and grab. Hang on a second. Yeah, the axis of symmetry is y equals 3. Did we cover that? You just graphed and analyzed a sideways parabola and gotten it into the proper form. Yeah, question.
Can you use the negative b over 2a to find the?
Can use the negative b over 2a. Excellent question. Look up here. Question. You remember how you did the axis of symmetry? Is x equals negative b over 2a? Does that work here? Yes, with one catch. When you're doing an inverse, what do you do? Flip the x's and y's, including this one. It's now y equals negative b over 2a. So in other words, yes, it does work. By the way, that's a little weird if you're finding your own vertex. If you try the axis of symmetry, you're not going to get the first number. It'll give you the second number. Then you have to plug it back in to get the first number, which is weird, but it works. Is that okay? Last 5 minutes or so, you're welcome to pound away at problem number 7. That is due tomorrow. Any questions? Going once, twice, twice. Alrighty, go to it. Call me if we get stuck. And for those of you watching at home, bye Rainey, this is my hand waving goodbye. Bye-bye.